Need to improve your club on Ultimate Team? Check out IGGM for safe and reliable coins with the link in the description. Get an extra 5% discount with code NA. What's good, y'all? For this video, we're going to be going over the 442, and the 442 and its corresponding custom tactics are always going to be meta regardless of, patches or anything like that. It's a really good custom tactic, and it's a really good formation to begin with because it has so much versatility to it, so you can structure your play style around it really often. So if you want something that's more counter-attacking based, you can make it work perfectly with 442, or if you want possession, or if you just want to play like a rat and spam crosses and stuff like that, there's really nothing that the 442 can't do, and it's easily like top 3 formations in the game. And since it's one of the best formations in the game, we're also able to make one of the best custom tactics all around for the 442 that can be applied to, compete with any sort of custom tactic to begin with. If you've used my 442 in the past, or if you've used things like the 424, then you'll realize that this is going to operate pretty similarly. It's going to be a really, really strong counter-attacking formation, as in you'll be able to go from defense to offense really quickly. And when I say that, I'm talking about that build-up stage from, maybe from the goal kick all the way up to the final third. It's going to happen really fast. It's going to take a really little passes to unlock the other team's defense, especially if you utilize your passing triangles from, midfield to striker. And yeah, I had one of my quickest 20-0s this week with this custom tactic. I think I was able to finish in like 5 hours or something like that. I had a lot of rage quits, so. But much more needing to be said, let's just get straight into the custom tactics. And I have it set to ultra defensive, even though my team is already in the 4-4-2. I just have a habit of always having it on these presets. They don't do anything for the people that think it does. This doesn't matter. It's just for the sake of organization, so it doesn't matter where you put it, but I have it set to ultra defensive for right now. We're using defensive style balance, width 42, depth 65. Because we're defending in a 4-4-2 shape, but like an actual 4-4-2 shape rather than something that's more makeshift and, forced. Let's say, for example, people that use a 4-3-2-1, where they have one of the wingers on come back on defense and then a center mid on cover wing, things like that, where it's a 4-4-2 shape, but it's not an authentic one. This one uses obviously the authentic 4-4-2 shape with its corresponding AI. And because we basically have a huge wall of midfielders and defenders, we're able to basically allow for a more wider width. That way we can, fight against people that love to spam, passes down the wing, spam cutbacks, things like that. So if you were curious, you can go as far as going all the way up to 50 if you're brave. But I didn't really feel the need to because it's not like we play against people that run 5 at the backs really often nowadays. But if you're running this custom tactic, you wanted to try something on your own, then you can absolutely push this up to 50 if, in case you're, suffering to people that are just abusing pace down the wing or something like that. And then depth 65, always depth 65. I wish there was something else I could try with this, but I tried 71 and it did too much for me. Didn't really have much benefits to offer, so I'm just taking that 65 until maybe a gameplay patch changes that, but the latest one didn't. So build up play balance with chance creation, direct passing. Since this is a counter-attacking formation, generally speaking, when you want to create counter-attacking custom tactics, you're going to want to use direct passing. It's really good for those pass and go situations where you pass, maybe 2 or 3 passes and then boom, you have a bunch of runs going on at the exact same time. And they're also really unique runs too, diagonal runs, things like that. Runs into space. Direct passing is perfect for that, so I know I like to play with possession. Possession's my favorite chance creation, but for the sake of respecting the counter-attacking aspect of this custom tactic, we're going to use direct passing today. And width 37, primarily because we need the wingers in this formation to get involved once they get into the other team's box. And having 37 width, I think of this a lot, but I've realized 37 is basically, like, for me, the perfect amount where we have the wings on a perfect position to be on the edge of the box for things like finesse shots or just giving them the option to, stay wide as well and, go for cutbacks and things like that. I've seen a lot of custom tactics go all the way down to 15, and that is, viable, obviously. But my only issue with that is the fact that if you're trying to play for a cutback, which I know is ready, but, goals are goals at the end of the day. But if you're trying to play for a cutback or a cross, things like that, you're not going to have the option to do so with such, narrow width. But then obviously if the width is too high, then you're going to force yourself in situations where you can only do cutbacks. So what I'm saying is with 37, you're kind of just given the option based on context once you get to the situation where you have the ball for your winger. If you want to dribble outside, go for a cutback or a cross, you absolutely can. If not, you can still cut inside, take the ball into the box and shoot. And then plays in the box 6. I always put 6 on my custom tactics. It's just my favorite number, to be honest. Corners and free kicks are completely self-preference, up to you. And then before we go ahead and talk about the play instructions, I'm literally super close to 25,000 subs, so there's a lot of y'all that watch my videos but haven't clicked the subscribe button. So if you like my custom tactics, if they've been working out for you really well, or if you just want to stay up to date with any other custom tactics that I release in the future, then go ahead and click the subscribe button. And we're also closing in on 2,000 members on our Discord server, and to be honest, we have some of the best discussion for things like, in-depth custom tactics discussion, and also things like squad building, or if you just want to share your pack pulls, or really just anything FIFA related. So you can find that with the link in the description as well. But yeah, going straight into the player instructions, we're going to start with our 2 strikers up here. And this is a part that I'm really excited to share because this is I believe like one of the first times I've tried this player instruction, and we're talking about the target player instruction. And obviously we're having, in general, we're going to have stay central, target player, and stay forward on that left striker. And I had a lot of fun with target player, I'm going to be honest. When I make these custom tactics and I go over the striker, I'm always reluctant to use target player, because when I think about target player, I'm thinking of a player like, think of the 2018 World Cup when Giroud, they won the World Cup with France, but Giroud didn't score a single goal. And obviously it wasn't an issue because he enabled players like Griezmann and Mbappe to really cook. So that's what I had as my general idea as a target player, a player that, enables other players instead and kind of deprioritizes himself, if that makes sense. And in a sense, that's what's going on right here. However, it's not the same concept. It's not the same concept of just having a big striker up here that's strong enough to hold the ball. Because as you can see, I have Messi right here. But it's the fact that this player right here will obviously come towards a center back and, allow a center back to man mark him. But at the same time, in these situations, it's like the AI deliberately plans this player when it's like in the actual position to let the AI do its job. The player is going to always be able to receive the ball to their feet. So if you're ever in those situations where you pass the ball to a striker, and then maybe you're just playing against like VVD or Bisek or something like that, and the center back reaches the ball first, I realize that target player, as long as the striker is, has stats that are good enough, target player will enable some sort of AI. I can't even explain it, but it's like some sort of AI where the Messi will win the ball without an issue. And it's probably because there's like some sort of distance in between that the AI holds between the striker and the center back that enables the striker, enables the center back to like struggle to get the ball. But I realize like in build up, having this player as target player right here, as long as you're a good dribbler, especially if you can get someone 5-star skill moves, which unfortunately I don't have, but I wish I did. But if you can get someone 5-star skill moves, you can still pass this player and you can turn around, do an elastico or a step over or something like that, and then boom, you have like a basically goal scoring opportunity right there. So the general idea is to just make sure this player is open at all times to receive the ball to their feet. So if you've seen other custom tactics where they have it on basic for the sake of doing that, I just found target player to be way better for that, to be honest, because we don't want both of them to be on getting behind. That's just too much, especially because the wingers, we'll get to them in a moment, but the wingers are on getting behind, so we don't need 4 players on getting behind. That's just extreme. You need someone that's going to be open consistently, and Messi is right there for that. He also has incisive pass plus, so he's really able to, get other players involved as well. And then the striker on the right is going to be on completely default, but with stay forward. Now, stay forward portion's only there for the sake of retaining that defensive structure. So the moment, you get to the counter attack, you have an option all the way up front. I realize that by keeping this player on default, the other team's center defensive mid, or one of the other team's center defensive mid, they will hold this player so tight. So that can be really annoying when you're trying to, counter attack, but then your striker's just completely closed off and you don't have a passing option in front of you. Having them on stay forward means, if you can get like a long ball or if you can get like a good angle for the pass, the CDM on the other team is not going to be marking this player. So it really helps for my counterattacks, to be honest. As for the rest being on complete default, normally speaking, you don't want to use, player instructions completely on default depending on the position, especially in the attack. And the only issue is that with how the game is, with how the engine is, the players just aren't going to perform with completely default custom tactics. However, the only reason we're leaving him on complete default is because the players around him, their their player instructions will completely complement this player right here. So you gotta understand custom tactics, specifically player instructions. It's not a matter of what player instructions are on this player, but it's a matter of what is around this player to begin with that, also is how this player will perform. So that's why we're able to get away with using this guy on complete default, because it'll play in positions perfectly set for the players around him to find him as well as be found from him. But yeah, that's the right striker. We're going to go to the right winger first, who's going to be on comeback on defense, cut inside, getting behind, get to the box for cross. Now, if I have to go back in time and think about all the custom tactics I've made and try to find that one position out of any formation that is just like so consistent, so reliable despite any patches or anything like that, it's got to be the right mid in a 4-4-2 or right and left mid on a 4-4-2 with comeback on defense, cut inside, getting behind, getting to the box for cross. It never matters. This is always going to be OP for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, obviously, the general concept is the fact that this player always tucks in between the other team's fullback and center back, makes the run in behind, and they're just always going to be, open for the through ball if you can get the angle for it. That's what makes it so frustrating for the opponent, because If you've ever played against somebody and they always manage to get, players to run in behind, because of stuff like this. That's why this formation is just so good for the counterattacks, because the other team's AI and defense is never going to be able to, as long as you can get your like a passing triangle or something coordinated in order to get the ball to this player and on a run, the AI is just never able to close down these like passes, these through balls when they have a cut inside get in the behind combination. So when you have a ball on your right back or your left center mid, sorry, your right center mid, you can literally just pass from that center mid to that right back over and over again, and then get the right striker involved as well. Eventually, your right mid is going to be through and goal. It's actually like kind of stupid if I'm being honest. It's one of those things that just never gets patched. But yeah, that's that. We're going to go to our right center mid, who's going to be on stay back while attacking, stay on the edge of the box for cross, and cover center. Now, like all my custom tactics, is always going to be one CDM type player, and it's going to be this player right here. And although I said CDM type player, it's really important that you have a playmaker right here, because this guy's going to act as your anchor. They don't even need to have that much pace, to be honest. You're just going to want someone that is really good in passing, has passing play styles, as well as really good in defense and has defensive play styles. So if you can get someone with things like intercept plus, anticipate plus, block plus is also a good one. And then for passing, things like long ball pass plus, or pinged pass, incisive pass, things like that will be really good at this position. Bonus points if you can get someone that's big here. Think of someone like, I don't know any big midfielders off the top of my head, but this card's going to be playing alongside the center backs really often, so you can get a card that can operate pretty well as a center back to begin with. If you can trust that center back, you can trust it here type thing. And then your other center mid right here, balance attack, get into the box for cross, and cover center. Now obviously you're going to want a box-to-box midfielder right here, someone that ideally has plus 90 in every single face stat. And then bonus points if they have something like, technical plus, or finesse plus, or incisive pass plus, or tiki-taka plus. Quick step plus as well is a good one. Even Trivela plus, to be honest. And the reason why we're doing balance attack, get into the box or cross, is because we don't want this player to just bomb, run into the box every single time. We want the AI to assess when they're needed and when they're not. And that's why the get into the box or cross is important as well, because once they decide, okay, there's space in the box for me to make a run, we want them to go deep into the box and make that run that puts them straight on goal with the keeper. So that way when they do receive the ball, they're in a position to just shoot straight away. We don't want them to just sit on the edge of the box, or like kind of just like waste time trying to find like pockets of space to linger in. That'd be more appropriate for a tiki-taka or a possession play style, but we want quick goals with this custom tactic, and we will get quick goals with this custom tactic. So get into the box for cross. When this player decides to finally make those runs, they're going to be deep. Pause. And then your left wing, I should have done this one earlier, but it's basically the exact same thing as the right wing. So it's going to be on come back on defense, cut inside, get in behind for cross. Sorry, what am I talking about? Get in behind. But this time we're not going to have get into the box for cross. And primarily why we do that is because when we go over the fullbacks, it'll make more sense. But this player right here, we just need to be holding a wider position because there's no overlap from the left back. And the reason why I say that is because as we go to the left back right here, they're going to be on stay back while attacking overlap, because this player right here is going to basically act as a third center back in defense. Now our defense is wide enough so when they do get the ball back, they can't just pace abuse down the wing. But that's also why, the player above is unbalanced, because we need this player to cover the width whenever it's necessary. Just in case, like I said, we want an option for a cross or a cutback or something like that. But yeah, this player right here is just a defender. So I found Joao Cancelo to be really good here, because not only is he just a good defender to begin with, but he has long ball pass plus, so he's really good for switching that ball, which is really useful with this custom tactic, because you can switch from one side to another diagonally as well, from this guy all the way to Olise on the right wing, especially if you can get to trigger a run or something like that. But yeah, that's that. And then your two center backs, I got Kyle Walker and I was like, you know what, this guy has like, I think he had like 80 something shooting, so I just experimented to play as striker. I haven't actually got into any like I haven't got to see it happen, because I haven't gotten to a point in a game where I was losing for a player striker to enable. But if you got Kyle Walker, give it a try, see how it goes, if you're brave enough, I guess. But for the rest of y'all that don't have like a Kyle Walker type card, you can put both of them stay back while attacking. And then your right back is going to be on join the attack overlap, and this is the card that's really going to act as the winger when you get to the other team's box. So Olise right here, once this player has the ball and this player is running into the box, or running for that overlap, this player right here is going to act as a third striker if anything. So that's the whole benefit to having this card on join the attack overlap, because once he actually joins the attack and overlaps, that Olise is going to cut inside deeper, pause, and it's just going to enable an like overload of attacking options in in the other team's box. And after that, you just have your keeper right here. Comes across the sweeper keeper. But like I said in other videos, I don't know if this does anything. I just do it for the sake of the video, but I completely forget sometimes that this even exists, so do what you want for this. It doesn't even matter, to be honest. It's not like it affects the custom tactics for what it's worth. Something that you can utilize on this custom tactic when you're looking for options as well, maybe you're losing or maybe you need to try something new, is you can try the D-pad setting of, I forgot what it was called off the top of my head, but I think it had something to do with like, it was called, sorry, it just came to my head, hug sidelines or whatever it's called. That one's really useful because it enables the wingers obviously to hug the touch lines. And like I said, if you have that player like Joao Cancelo or a fullback that has like that long ball pass plus, not only can you use that to basically like close out a game, if you want to be like a complete rat and just close out the game by spamming long ball passes, then you absolutely can. But if you're in situations where for some reason the other team's AI is just absolutely like defending like prime Jose Mourinho, you can't get any balls in behind, you just can't unlock the other team's defense at all, then what you can do is just basically frustrate the opponent by switching the ball. And when you switch the ball, the other players are obviously interested in getting the ball back, so they're going to be dragging players out of position. So that's kind of the issue of this year's meta, switching the ball around for the sake of not confusing the other team's AI, but rather frustrating your opponent enough that they start dragging players out of position, and then boom, you're going to have a player in the midfield that's open, and then from there you can attack your way into the opponent's box. But yeah, if you ever want to try it, or if you're just curious, I would highly recommend, for like 30 minutes a match, you go ahead and toss in that hug sidelines D-pad setting, because that's really useful. Same goes for attacking fullbacks. If I'm ever losing by 1 goal, or if I'm about to win by a lot more than 1 goal, and I want my opponent to just rage quit as soon as I can, sometimes I'll just toggle on attacking fullbacks and cause an even bigger overlap on both flanks. Because once both your fullbacks overlap, you just have so many options in the box. So go ahead and give that a try as well. But yeah, generally speaking, in a build-up, always pay attention to your center mids, the striker that's in front of them, and then the closest winger. So obviously for the right center mid, you're going to have the right striker and the right center back. Sorry, what am I talking about? The right winger. If you can get those passing triangles going, which for the sake of this custom tactic, the objective is to make sure once you're in this passing triangle, one of those places is going to be open. And also if you can utilize the pass and go when you press, I believe it's L1 or I don't know what it is on PS5, but I use Xbox, so it would be LB for me. But if you can utilize the LB and then you press passive, obviously, get those passing goes, you'll realize that your players are just going to be making so many penetrative runs. And not only when you make these runs are you giving yourself an option for the through ball, but you're also opening up space for you to just keep running. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll trigger a run, and then obviously the other player is going to have to mark it and, have a center back or a fullback run against, the striker that's moving. And once they do that, they're just opening up space, because once they make the run, then the whole center line, like center defensive line or whatever, is going to run as well to adjust to make sure there's no overlap. And then boom, from there, you've just made your job way more easier in the build-up, because now there's going to be more space for you to dribble forward. You're going to give yourself more passing options in the future. But yeah, as for other custom tactics, I have 2 more in the works. I have a 4-5-1, the second version, which I've mentioned for like several videos now. And this one's a custom tactic that's taken me a minute now. I'm still testing it myself, but I'm having so much fun with it. It's more of a authentic one rather than a meta one, because even though it's still absolutely going to be meta, it's still going to be really good in that department. But I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but I just really like it because not only is it meta, but it's one of those authentic, formations that replicate a real life team. So if that's more your play style, if that's what you take pride, like that's what you get your enjoyment out of when you play, then that custom tactic is going to be a lot of fun for you. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you're really looking forward to. That way, I'll decide if I should rush it and get it out as soon as I can. I also have a 4-3-2-1 that I figured I'd start making again, just in case, people needed one after these patches. And that's what I also used for the last weekend league, because this 4-4-2 was a weekend league prior, and my qualification games as well. And the 4-2-3-1 is also really good as well. It's still a counterattacking custom tactic as well, but it's also more leaning towards possession as well. The only reason it's not considered like a complete possession one is because that's kind of the thing with 4-3-2-1, but it's just your structure is just always going to be open once you get to the box. All you gotta do sometimes is just like one Elastigirl or something and you're in on goals. So that custom tactic kind of just defies logic for what it's worth. But if that's a custom tactic you're looking for as well, just let me know in the comments. Whichever one has more demand, I'll release first. But at the end of the day, both of them are getting released really soon. So, and if you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and that's all for today.